All right, everyone. Thank you for answering that poll. It looks like we're mostly students, but also some family members. So welcome to all of you. We're really excited to have you here to learn more about student wellness here at UChicago. My name is Katie Welch. I work in college programming and orientation. I'm just here to facilitate our presentation today. So with us, we have Julie Edwards, who's the Director of Health Promotion. And then we have Dr. Meeta Kumar, who's the Director of Student Counseling. Before we get started with their presentation, I just want to let you know that we will have the chat open. Feel free to go in there and introduce yourselves to one another. We'll be keeping an eye on that. If you have any tech difficulties, feel free to put that in the chat. We'll be keeping an eye on that and be able to help you out from there. We also have a Q&A function. You should be able to see that on the bottom of your screens. That's the place where you can put any questions you have throughout the presentation that we will answer at the end of the presentation. We will give you a chance at the end of the presentation also to upvote any questions that you definitely want answered. So if you see a question that you also have, feel free to upvote that, and at the end of the presentation, we'll just go through from the most upvoted on down for as much time as we have. So please feel free to use that function as well. I am going to pull up our presentation, and then I will hand it on off to Julie Edwards. So let me give you control, and we should be good to go. Thank you so much for being here, everyone.
Wonderful. Welcome, everyone. So I'd like to just welcome you to UChicago in general. As Katie had already mentioned, my name is Julie Edwards, and I am the Director of Health Promotion within UChicago Student Wellness. And Dr. Meeta Kumar, you will hear from soon after. What we're going to do today is really cover the vast array of services that we provide within student wellness. And so what I'd like to first share with you all as you are beginning your journey here at UChicago is first and foremost your access and the way in which you have access to different campus services. So the majority of our students on campus have access to a variety of services because you pay what is called a student services fee. And as such, you have access to the medical, the mental health services, as well as health promotion services and programs that are offered within UChicago Student Wellness. I think there's a lag. Oh, here we go. So these slides we hope are a bit helpful, and I believe they'll be shared after today's session. But we like to share just all of the resources that are available to you without going through health insurance. So from a medical services side, first and foremost, you can receive routine physicals, any type of chronic care. If you have a chronic condition, you may go to our medical services wing within the wellness center. There are various procedures that are offered within our medical services area, including sexually transmitted infection testing, pregnancy testing, checking for strep, tuberculosis, flu shots, immunizations, allergy injections if that's something you need. And they also help with travel health consultations. So in the event that you are traveling, they can help with those immunizations that might be required. And they also provide some sports medicine consultations. But then where your insurance comes into play is if you need any type of prescriptions that are filled, if you have to be referred to subspecialists that are within the Chicago area, our internal medical services staff can help with that, but the services themselves would not be covered by the student services fee. And then there's certain immunizations that are not covered that would have to go through your health insurance, as well as emergency care, any type of hospitalizations or specific lab tests that may be needed, as well as, there's other services that might come up, such as x-rays or things like that, that would go through your insurance plan. But we hope that this provides you just a better understanding of what is covered just through your student services fee within UChicago, and then also why insurance is needed. Sorry, there's a little bit of a lag. With mental health services, the same holds true. So many of the services within our mental health area are covered through the student services fee. So they can provide diagnostic assessments, crisis intervention, short-term psychotherapy, whether it's individual, couples, and also substance abuse counseling. They also have psychiatry services available, support groups, academic skills assessments that are done, and medication management and consultation. They also have individuals who can refer outside to other resources. And Dr. Kumar will go into this in more detail, but I just like to share that many of the services are offered through the student services fee, and they don't go through your health insurance. Now, on the other hand, the reason your insurance is also needed is because if you have prescriptions that need to be filled, or if you need to see subspecialists or emergency room care, those are things where your insurance is extremely beneficial so that you're not incurring a large cost out of pocket. And so that's why we like to share that as well. From the health promotion side, everything is covered under your student services fee. So there is nothing that would be charged through health insurance. And so I just like to share that with the group also, but just so that you're aware of that piece. One of the things to also keep in mind is that I highly recommend going to UChicago Student Wellness first, because whether it's mental health or medical services, they can always help you navigate whatever you might be experiencing in the time. So it's always best to reach out to them first so that you're not incurring potentially unnecessary costs out of pocket at all. And so one of the things about the insurance plan is that all registered students are required to carry health insurance. And so each year, students are automatically enrolled in our University Student Health Insurance Plan. We call it USHIP for short. And every year, students will need to waive coverage if you have some other form of health insurance that meets the comparable coverage requirements. And so that's something to keep in mind. The deadlines and those types of things are currently being worked out right now, but information will be available on our website. The premiums, just so that you all know, for USHIP are $4,566 for the year. And one thing I always like to stress with students is that the coverage for this plan starts September 1st and it goes through August 31st. And so even if you sign up, say at the beginning of October or end of September, it is retroactive and it will cover you starting September 1st, and it's good for a full 12 months. You, though, will only be billed 3 separate times during autumn, winter, and spring bursar bills. And so you'll receive that premium, that installment payment that would be due on those tuition bills within those different quarters. But even though the last bill is paid in spring, you're still covered through August 31st. There's also optional dental and vision plans that are available, but you would actually pay those companies directly, and all of that information is available on our website. A few things, sorry, I'll go back. A few things that I also like to share is that we do have on-campus representatives. So our insurance plan is through United Healthcare Student Resources, and we have 2 individuals who will reside within the Wellness Center who are available to you. They're available from Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. We have the number listed here, but the best way right now, because we're working virtually, is just emailing them directly at uchicagoadvocates@uhcsr.com. And they're very responsive. They will get back to you if you have questions on coverage, if you have questions on the USHIP plan in general, they would be able to assist in that way. We also have a university contact. Her name is Celia Bergman, and we have her email listed here as well, but she can help navigate if you have questions specifically about the university's policy or procedures, or if you're experiencing any concerns regarding that. So Celia can also help bridge that gap and help students kind of navigate insurance in general. And I always share our website. So the direct link is wellness.uchicago.edu/student-insurance. And you can find a wealth of information about the plan itself, what it covers, and a variety of things. The deadlines will eventually be posted on there as well. Now, I would like to just share a little bit about options for care, because sometimes students, it might be your first time being on your own, or maybe you haven't navigated the healthcare system in general. And so again, our goal is to hopefully not have you incur out-of-pocket expenses that might not be necessary. So as I mentioned at the beginning, I highly recommend that you first reach out to UChicago Student Wellness because many of the services are covered under the student services fee. But then we also offer what's called our nurse advice line. And with that line, that is also free to all students. So in the event you're in a dorm room, you're at home, and you have questions about some type of condition or some symptoms that you might be experiencing, you can call this number and a certified nurse will help you navigate what it is and help point you in the right direction. Maybe it's on a weekend that you're experiencing something and the clinic is closed. You can contact this number and then they can help you determine if it's something that's urgent and you should go to an emergency room, for instance, or if it's something that they recommend you wait until the center opens. So that's one thing to definitely keep in mind. And another great feature that we offer is something called the Healthiest You. And that's a telemedicine option that's available to students. It's free for students who are on the USHIP plan, but I recommend if you have your own plan, if you're on your parents' coverage and you're going to be using that for this upcoming academic year, I recommend you contact them to see if they have a telemedicine option. Many plans do, and then typically there's no additional cost for you to utilize those services. But it's very similar to, say, a Skype or even the Zoom as we're doing today, where you'll see a physician face to face, where you can talk with them about the symptoms that you're experiencing, you can show them things, and they can even potentially prescribe different medication that you might need to help with whatever it is you're experiencing. Now, kind of moving up on the ladder of cost, the convenience care clinics, those are like your CVS or your Walgreens pharmacies. And the average cost for those visits are about $65, but it can range between lower 50s to mid 80s. And so, you know, they can help with some limited symptoms that you might be experiencing, but you would be able to go there in person. Then there's also an urgent care clinic, and there's a few that are located within the Chicago and Hyde Park area. The average cost for those visits is $190. And then as you'll see, for emergency room purposes, typically that's very serious or critical conditions of when you would want to go if it's something extremely urgent. And you'll notice that the cost increases significantly. And so that's why I always recommend either reaching out to our UChicago Student Wellness staff or the nurse advice line so they can help you navigate which of these realms would be most applicable for whatever condition you're experiencing. So now we'll just move into a little bit about the services and programs that we offer before turning it over to Dr. Kumar. First and foremost, our Facets of Wellbeing framework is something that we try to really align with what we do and what we provide for all of you as UChicago students. We know that you all are all here for the intellectual side. That's why you're coming to UChicago for the academic aspects. But it's very important that you take care of all of these different dimensions or facets of well-being so that you can maintain your overarching well-being. So for instance, connecting with your peers, making sure that you're eating and getting an appropriate amount of sleep, you know, understanding what you value in life and what environment are you creating for yourself to provide a support system. And so when I describe some of these services, hopefully you'll be able to better understand how we try to make sure we're supporting you in each of these ways, but not even just within UChicago Student Wellness, but within the University of Chicago overall. From a medical services side, there are many services that are already provided within the UChicago Student Wellness. There's primary and acute healthcare, as well as routine medical services, like I mentioned earlier, with physicals or things that might be needed. They provide gynecological services, as well as sexually transmitted infection screenings, and there's lab testing that can be done too. We have a wonderful phlebotomist who tries to make it as seamless as possible for taking any blood from you all. And then there's a new nurse navigator program. And so this was specifically set up to help students navigate the healthcare system. So in the event you need referrals or need linkages to different services that are either on campus or off campus, the nurse navigator can help you kind of navigate the situation and determine what's best for you. There's also an eating concerns support and assessment team, and it's interdisciplinary, so they work very closely with our mental health services aspect. And then we offer specialty care, so sports visits, travel visits, and we also offer PrEP, and that's something for individuals who might be at a higher risk of contracting HIV. There are flu shots and immunization events that happen, and they also provide those services within the Wellness Center. And then another wonderful piece is interpretation services. So in the event you would prefer to speak to someone in your native language, you are able to do so, and they wheel in kind of like an iPad where you can actually speak in your native tongue so that you can better understand the recommendations that the medical provider is giving you. We have a wide range of services, and obviously today we have a briefer period of time together. So if you have other questions or would like to find out more information on medical services, you may do so at wellness.uchicago.edu/medical-services. And a way in which we have multiple ways to access medical services. One of the main ways is the overall number, which is 773-834-WELL. And so you may call there and they can connect you and schedule an appointment. They are offering telemedicine options now. I also mentioned that nurse advice line. That's the same number. We try to make it as easy as possible for all of you. I also brought up the telehealth appointments. So that is available, and then also emergency care. So within UChicago, we are fortunate to have a wonderful medical center on our campus. And so the emergency room and the emergency clinic is right on our campus. So easy access in the event you have something serious or potentially life-threatening. Now I'll talk briefly about health promotion. So there are many different programs, trainings, and events that we offer to really support you holistically, thinking about all of those facets of well-being. We offer different alcohol and other drugs educational programs. So if you have questions about your habits or potentially on how you might be able to incorporate some changes in your behaviors, you can meet with one of our health educators and she can help you navigate that. We have something called Better Together, where it's a program to really encourage social connection and create a sense of belonging among students on our campus. It's 4 weeks where we bring students together to talk about a variety of themes such as identity, vulnerability, compassion, and self-compassion. And we've really received positive feedback from students around this program. We offer mindfulness meditation courses. And so this also, the formal classes are 4 weeks, 1 hour a week, where we teach you skills and techniques to incorporate different mindfulness activities to hopefully reduce stress and anxiety. So I encourage you to check those out. And we're also going to be considering drop-in weekly sessions that will be done every quarter. We also have something called the Refresh Sleep Program, where if it's something that you'd like to try and make your environment more conducive to sleep, understand why sleep is important as a first-year student at UChicago, you can sign up for that program. And it's 7 weeks, but completely email-based, where you receive 1 email from us with information around sleep and how to potentially change behaviors, habits, and your environment. And we've seen great success with participants. Roughly 500 students per quarter participate in that program. We also offer something called wellness coaching. And so it's all based on motivational interviewing, where we help students set up a vision for themselves and what you all would want to achieve, and then creating goals to achieve that vision. And so we really help from a motivational interviewing standpoint to coach you into achieving whatever you would like to better support your well-being, not only as a student, but once you graduate as well. A few of our events and resources that we offer, we have a weekly email that goes out called Bust My Stress, where we highlight a lot of different events and programs that are offered across the university campus. And so it's just a great way to stay in touch and see if there's ways in which you'd like to participate across campus and thinking about supporting those facets of well-being. We have stress kits that can be actually reserved. So they have bouncy balls, coloring sheets, Play-Doh, kinetic sand. So just fun ways in which students can bring them to study groups or things like that. So it's just another resource that is available to you all. And then there's some large scale events that we offer, which may look a little bit different in autumn quarter, but we do bring certified therapy dogs on campus. through our Pet Love program. And Wellapalooza is an event we normally have in autumn and spring quarter, where we bring about 40 different campus, student, and community resources together so that we can engage and let students know all of the resources that exist. Lastly, one of the initiatives that we have is called Take 10, where we are really encouraging students to take breaks following the Pomodoro technique and 10 minutes per hour of a break to just rejuvenate yourself and be more productive, but then also in connecting with others. So more information can be found on our website, again, wellness.uchicago.edu. And one last thing is we are launching a new program this year that all of you will have access to. It will be called LIFE, which stands for Living Intentionally to Flourish Every Day. It will be available to you via Canvas. And it's a 4-week program based on positive psychology principles so that we can really encourage and increase flourishing among students on our campus. So all of you as first years will be able to participate, and then we're also offering different sessions for graduate and professional students. But we're really looking forward to this newly developed program and hope you find it fun. It will be a lot of interactive discussions and just different things that you'll be able to connect with each other on a deeper level. And so now what I'd like to do is turn it over to Dr. Kumar, who will be talking to you about mental health services within UChicago Student Wellness.
Thank you, Julie. Trying to move the slide back to the previous one. Just bear with me for a second. Okay, great. So thank you, Julie. I am Meeta Kumar, and I am a psychologist as well as the director of student counseling, and would really like to extend a very warm congratulations and welcome to all of you as you join the UChicago community and start hopefully an interesting, challenging, invigorating new chapter in your lives. So just to reiterate a little bit before I get into the services part of it, I'd like to reiterate what Julie was saying a little while ago, that all of the services and engagement opportunities that we provide through UChicago Student Wellness are really in recognition of a fundamental priority for us at the university, that your wellness is critically important to your academic and life success. So, and now more than ever, we really invite you to think about that and explore our resources, because we are here to support you and assist you in a variety of different ways. So some typical experiences that students may have through the course of the academic journey are, of course, appropriately experiencing stress on account of just life challenges, academic challenges, new opportunities that they discover and experience. In addition to that, students also experience relationship issues, difficulties with family members, with significant others, as well as academic stress, distress. They may feel anxious, worried, have some low mood, depression type experiences. To some who may also have some significant serious mental health issues. So there's a variety of experiences that students may have. All of those are normal, and we are here to support and assist students with an array of different issues. So we have a pretty comprehensive set of mental health services that are available. All services through our office are free of charge, and they're confidential. And confidential means that every experience, every conversation, every contact that you have with us is privileged, it's private, unless and until we have written consent from students, or if students are really experiencing a life-threatening scenario where they are in danger to themselves or to someone else, and then we are obligated to keep individuals and communities safe. But those are typically rare instances, and we navigate those with great sensitivity and care. So they have a very large multidisciplinary staff through student counseling, psychologists like me, licensed clinical social workers, psychiatrists, advanced practice nurse practitioners. So lots of folks who work with us, people of different backgrounds, different social identities, racial, ethnic, sexual orientation, international student background. We have staff who speak multiple languages, so diversity, inclusion, providing inclusive, affirming care is a core value of ours, and we are constantly working to ensure that we provide, again, safe, inclusive, and affirming environments for our students. So as I said, students engage with us for a variety of different reasons. We provide short-term individual couples counseling. Students, there's no session limit, but it's something that we customize to students' problems focused and situational stressors that we try to help out with. As long as one of the students in the couples is a UChicago eligible student, we can also provide short-term couples therapy through our office. Our psychiatric treatment model is slightly different, where once you engage with us, we provide long-term treatment through our office, which includes evaluation, medication consultation, and management for the entire duration of your academic career. We also provide different kinds of psychoeducational opportunities, and those may include support groups when appropriate, and I'll talk a little more about our remote services through the next slide. Psychoeducational workshops, so lots of different opportunities for students to receive support, hone their skills, also be with their peers where they can engage around shared experiences and challenges. We have crisis care available. It's 24/7, and I'll talk a little bit more in a second. Specialty care, like getting substance use assessment and treatment, along with eating concerns assessment and treatment. We also provide an additional opportunity around academic skills assessment program. Sometimes students may experience difficulties with their academic performance, feeling like they are functioning at their best, or struggling in some ways that may have a mental health aspect. We find students may be experiencing anxiety or dealing with procrastination and other kinds of issues that may be impacting the academic performance. So this is a psychologist clinician run program where they are able to do an adequate assessment and come up with a plan to support students in both of those realms. Let's Talk is our way of really lowering the barrier as much as we can by providing anonymous, informal opportunities to confidentially have consultation with our clinicians. So again, our website is probably the best place at this time and in the next couple months to continue to go and receive updated information about our upcoming programs and services. Just bear with me, there's a little lag here. Okay. Sorry, I moved too quickly. So, you know, obviously with the pandemic, we have shifted pretty rapidly, pretty much to providing all of our services in a remote environment, predominantly through phone and Zoom. And just so you know, the spring quarter experience was pretty interesting, pretty successful from our perspective. We provided thousands of contacts, therapy contacts, couples therapy, psychiatric medication contacts, case management contacts to all of our UChicago students throughout the quarter. And our students have been pretty satisfied with those experiences. And for someone, perhaps you've never engaged or had an encounter with a therapist or a mental health clinician in the past, and we really encourage you to reach out and do that. And even though it may seem daunting to engage in a virtual environment, we really find that our skills to be able to listen and empathize and assess students and advise them, guide them, really transfer pretty well. So I just want to mention that. So here is a suite of offerings for you as you begin your academic journey, that we have a therapist on call 24/7, and that's the number. So regardless of location, whether you are a domestic student or international student, please know that you can call and speak with a clinician 24/7, 365 days a year. And that person will listen to your concerns and determine next steps for support. If you're looking to schedule a routine appointment, you can just contact our front desk and schedule a phone or a Zoom session with one of our clinicians. If you are an international student and you prefer not to use the phone, again, we will have information coming up where you're still able to reach out to us, and then we are able to connect with you and figure out next steps on how best to connect with you and support you moving forward. If you need to speak with a clinician, one of our clinicians urgently, again, you can call the number and ask to speak with a therapist on call. So there's multiple ways to have access to urgent care as a UChicago student. And then based on your needs, based on your preference, our clinicians will set up teletherapy sessions, telepsychiatry sessions, ongoing, weekly, bi-weekly, whatever is best needed to support you. In case you're looking to connect with other providers, access specialty care, whether in the Chicagoland area or outside of that, we have case managers who are licensed clinical social workers who can help navigate the referral process as well as the insurance process for you. So just know that there's pretty robust help available. And our clinicians are working hard to provide virtual psychoeducational workshop opportunities on a variety of topics that, again, are pretty normal concerns for UChicago students, like developing effective communication skills, managing health anxiety in this environment, navigating relationships for students of color to have opportunities to just come together and be able to share and support each other. So stay tuned for that. Again, our website is probably the best place that we will continue to update in the weeks and months to come. Just bear with me. Okay. So this is a brand new student wellness center that we are really, really proud of and excited to see this come to light. This is partially open. Our student health services has moved in there and they're offering services through the new student wellness center. The other part of the wellness center that will house the mental health services as well as health promotion is actively under construction. This is a brand new space that is keeping some historical elements of the University of Chicago, architectural elements in there while giving it a complete makeover and adding lots of modern, clean, fresh, new enhancements with a lot of natural light and lots of glass. So this will be a space where we will be providing our coordinated, integrated, comprehensive suite of services. We expect to move sometime in the fall, early winter quarter, so stay tuned for that. But we just wanted to give you a preview of what's about to come. So we are excited to serve you in the next few months. Please don't hesitate. Reach out, ask for help. If anything is unclear, you can always reach out to me, to Julie, with emails as questions emerge in the next weeks and months. So, so take good care. And what we will do is, I guess, shift to the question and answer portion of our presentation now. So,
monitoring the Q&A. So Whitney, if it's okay, if I kind of answer some of these live, I thought it might be helpful.
Yeah.
I saw One of the questions is, do students keep their pediatrician at home as their primary care physician, or do they use student wellness for physicals or obtain a primary care physician in Chicago outside of student wellness? So student wellness can actually serve as your primary care to be able to navigate as your student within UChicago. So you can go there for your physicals if you have a common cold, if you think potentially you have strep throat, just various things that you might be navigating, you know, they would be able to serve in that capacity. Some people do still retain their physician at home too. So in the event you do go home and maybe you're ill over a break or something like that, that you're still able to have that care. But there is continuity of care that can be provided within student wellness. So hopefully that answered your question, but I definitely recommend student wellness versus doing finding a primary care physician outside of student wellness, going within the Chicagoland area, because then you'll be incurring fees through your health insurance and potentially out-of-pocket fees, where many of the services can be provided within the medical services in student wellness. So hopefully that answered that question.
Thanks, Julie.
Yes, you're welcome.
There was another question about insurance that just popped up, so I might just tie right in, but
Yeah, absolutely.
If a student chooses to be covered by their family insurance, will they be covered at the Student Wellness Center?
Yes, so the Student Wellness Center does not take any insurance. It's all covered by the student services fee. So we don't bill insurance or anything like that. I'm assuming that many of you may stay on your parents' plan, and so that is completely fine in order to do so. But UChicago Student Wellness, again, many of those services that they offer are covered by the student services fee. So your insurance would only be needed if you have a prescription to be filled, if you go to an outside provider, if you have a hospitalization or maybe x-rays or something like that. That's when your health insurance comes into play. You'll just want to make sure that you go to the student insurance website and look at the comparable coverage checklist to make sure that your parents' plan meets all of those items so that it will be acceptable, so that you can waive the university student insurance plan. Thanks, Whitney.
Yeah, and then one more insurance before we move on to another topic. UShip insurance, does it cover a student while they're at home over breaks in summer?
So students will be covered where they also travel. So that is one of the things that UShip covers a wide variety of areas as well within the United States. And so more information can be found on the student insurance website, but because we utilize United Healthcare, they have services all available within the United States so that you would still be able to be covered in those areas.
Awesome. We have a few questions about counseling services. First, if counseling services are free, if you want to reiterate that answer.
Yes, absolutely. So all of the services offered through student counseling are free of charge. So there's no insurance, there's no billing. So just know, for students who then get referred out for long-term care, for specialty care, that's when the insurance becomes important. So students on UShip clearly have different kinds of benefits there. It's actually a really great benefit. For $10 copay, you get access to psychotherapy practitioners in the local area. And as I said, we have licensed clinical social workers that in case you are on your parents' insurance, then they are there to kind of really assist, break down what the copay, what the costs involved are, and help you navigate the referral landscape, as well as have a better understanding of how your benefits would work for you. But all of the services, psychiatric, counseling, workshops, everything through our office is free of charge.
That is awesome to hear. We have a few questions regarding COVID-19 and the current situation. Questions about if they do test positive for it, how will they be supported, or what will happen to them when they arrive on campus? Overall, with the current situation being virtual, what does that mean for your programs for the autumn?
Great, and thank you all for the questions that you're submitting. This is extremely helpful. Right now, because the current environment is ever evolving, we continue to follow public health guidance on how we are helping support our students during this time. And so our medical services is working very closely with housing, very closely with the University of Chicago Medical Center, as well as the university in general, so that we can determine the best way to keep all of you safe. And so first and foremost, that's our utmost, it's of utmost importance to us to make sure that you remain safe. And if someone tests positive, that we're able to isolate them in an effective way where they can still get meals, access to everything that they would need as well. There aren't final plans yet. There's still, because things have been evolving so rapidly, they're in the talks still, but as soon as that information is available, I'm sure it will be sent broadly to all UChicago students. So I would definitely encourage you to just be looking out for your emails, but they will be very clear on that piece. There is a website, UChicago Forward, I believe, .edu.
Go forward, I think.
I'll look it up and put it in the chat. But basically everything related to COVID is on this site. So that's the site that would have the most up-to-date information that you'll be able to find. So I would strongly encourage you to look at that, as well as emails that may come from the president, provost, or your dean of students in the college as well.
Yeah.
Oh, and the other question I think was about programming. So, because I think I saw about Better Together as well as other programs. So from the health promotion side, we've transitioned everything that we offer virtually over spring quarter. We're offering things also over summer. And then most likely the majority will be virtual during the autumn quarter, but we're still determining that, again, following public health guidance. And so with those pieces, Better Together, in spring quarter, we just offered virtual game nights, but we will have those themed discussions that we'll have for students available in autumn quarter. We will also have the mindfulness meditation. Those potentially will be hybrid, where maybe we would offer some in person, but again, there's more guidance happening. So we just wanna make sure we're following the public health guidelines and what the state of Illinois requires. But regardless, it will be offered virtually. And then we offer wellness coaching. So Meetha mentioned with counseling services, our wellness coaching, and also our brief alcohol screening and intervention for college students, or basics. Those are both offered via Zoom. And so you can sign up for those right now even, and they're via Zoom. And so you meet one-on-one via video chat with some of our health educators or some of our team members. So pretty much, I don't think there's anything within health promotion that we will not be offering from a virtual standpoint. So you can definitely take a look at our website, and we'll make sure that we have all of the registration available. On our website, we also have an online calendar that will be updated before the academic year. So you can find the workshops that Meetha mentioned, as well as other things that we're offering within UChicago Student Wellness. So it's a nice snapshot of various things that includes registration links as well.
We have two questions regarding the quarantine after students who choose to come to campus. When they arrive on campus, that will be in a mandatory quarantine. They're just wondering what maybe that looks like, feels like, if they'll be able to see other people in their rooms or in their building, and what services might be available to ensure that's a positive experience.
Yeah, so I would just echo a lot of what Julie said, that I think all of these sort of the nitty-gritty around these are still being developed. So students can at least be assured that housing is giving this, I think, a lot of thought regarding the quarantine period soon after arrival. But there's going to still be a lot of virtual opportunities for students to connect with each other, build community, not just through housing. There's a very large student life presence on campus. There's lots of registered student organizations who are working hard through the summer to see how they can transfer their offerings and provide opportunities for students to connect with others around shared interests, have recreational opportunities, cultural engagement, civic engagement. And then some of this also just depends on the public health guidelines. Perhaps there would be opportunities for students to do something safely one-on-one, like, you know, have coffee together, or go for bike rides and And again, depends on what the fall looks like. And if the safety guidelines loosen up, there probably will be more opportunities. But just students should know that this part of that student experience is important, and there's a lot of thought that's being given to that. But in case, again, you have concerns about it, you're struggling in any kind of way, please know that we are also here and we're thinking about that. So connect with people and connect with folks sooner than later. So you are really developing your team of support as you enter the system. Julie, do you have anything else to add to that?
No, I don't. I think what we really want to make sure that we're able to provide opportunities for students to connect with one another, but we also want to make sure that we're keeping you all safe. And so that's why, to meet this point, we'll make sure that we're following the public health guidance and just monitoring things as students come to campus. And we'll work very closely with counseling as well as our other student services colleagues to make sure that whatever we're doing, we're aligning with that, but we're still allowing you all to connect with one another, because that's what the college experience is about. So whether it's virtual, whether it's in person, more will be coming around that. But I think just your safety is of utmost importance to us. And so we just want to make sure we're here to support you in whatever mode is most helpful and keeps you safe.
Thank you both.
In the chat, oh, I'm sorry. In the chat, I'm including that Go Forward website for UChicago so that you all can access that. And that has more details around just COVID in general and how the university is responding and different things that are being put into place to keep you safe.
Thanks, Julie. We appreciate you both reiterating that there's a lot of ever-evolving concepts and ideas that we're still figuring out, but everything we're doing is in the best interest for our students. We have a question regarding COVID-19 and vaccinations, and in general, what vaccinations do you all offer, and potentially if a vaccine is developed, will that be provided by the university?
You know, I think there's more to come on that, just because it's so in flux at this point to know when a vaccine might potentially be available, and then also to know the accessibility of it. So unfortunately, I don't have an answer at this time, but you can definitely take a look at that Go Forward site. And I assume that UChicago Student Wellness will be sending out information. So in the event it's something that we can offer within our area, I'm sure that a communication will go out to all of you so that you know it's something that's offered within UChicago Student Wellness. I just can't guarantee at this time. You know, it's just in development anyway, so we don't know what that will look like. And so we can't say for certainty if it's something that we would be able to offer.
Absolutely. And one more question about the Student Wellness website regarding the Immunizations Portal. It looks like they're saying it's still closed, or maybe it is open at this point, but could you just reiterate the process for that and the timeline for submitting that form?
No, I appreciate you all being very proactive and taking a look and finding out about the immunization portal. Right now, because things are so in flux, there may be changes to the requirements for immunizations for students, kind of depending on where you're residing. And so that portal will be up either end of July or beginning of August. So I just received clarification from my boss on that as we were live, just to verify that, but just so that you know, end of July, beginning of August, the portal will be live, and then it will show you what is required and then how you can submit your immunization records.
Great. I think there are a few other questions regarding social distancing. So I'm not sure if you all have any other last thoughts or things to share about that, but it looks like all the questions in the Q&A have been answered at this time.
Right now, I know for social distancing, from the different conversations that we've had, from a classroom perspective, classrooms can only be 25% capacity. And then if students are in there, on that Go Forward site I sent you, there are also seating plans and things like that. So the university is giving a lot of thought to how to keep folks safe, but it's still 6 feet distance for social distancing, as well as wearing masks if indoors. But there's a lot of things still in flux. And so we continue to follow the guidance from the CDC, as well as our own public health folks. Maybe you all have seen Dr. Emily Landon. She's the infectious disease expert within UChicago Medicine. and she's the one who's helping really guide this process. They're also hiring contact tracers. So in the event someone on campus becomes positive, how do they then trace that back and make sure that we're trying to isolate folks so we're not spreading anything. So there's a lot of effort going in behind the scenes to make sure that we're keeping our campus safe for all of you. And so I would just encourage you to take a look at that Go Forward site, which has many more details, and it incorporates so much within the university in general, not just UChicago Student Wellness. So it's just a great resource for you to stay abreast of newest information.
Thanks, Julie. 2 quick questions just popped in. For vaccines, if they're not able to receive those prior to arriving on campus, can they receive them once they arrive?
Yes, typically we have different immunization times that students can come to make sure they're able to get the vaccines they may not be able to get prior to arrival. So if you have questions about that, I recommend you call the number 773-834-WELL, and they can provide more detailed information on that. But yes, we do provide certain vaccinations for students who might not be able to get them in advance.
All right, final question, and not sure if either of you can answer at this time, but any of the mandatory COVID-19 testing, do you know if that will be absorbed by the university or if there will be additional fees for the students?
I don't believe any decisions have been finalized yet around that piece. And so again, I'm sure that will be communicated as we know more, but at least I haven't been privy to it if it has been. So we can definitely look into it on our end and share it with our college programming office too, outside of this.
Awesome. Well, thank you both so much for joining us today, and thank you to everyone who sat in and watched the webinar. Our office will take this recorded piece and put it on our website for anyone who has further questions. And we'll also have a copy of the PowerPoint if you'd like to learn more about what we shared. So thank you all again. Please feel free to reach out to Student Wellness or College Programming and Orientation, and we look forward to working with you all this autumn quarter.
Thank you, and welcome to UChicago.
Everyone,
Thanks, everyone.
welcome, be safe.